Hey guys, it's Jenny Silver with the California EDD unemployment update for you. For those of you who are required to provide PUA work history or self-employment history documentation to the EDD, there is an updated news release on the EDD's newsroom site. The EDD states that they have sent out approximately 1.4 million notices to PUA recipients to submit documents proving their employment or self-employment as required by federal law. They state that nearly 1 in 5 of these individuals have turned in their documentation. This means that a significant amount of PUA recipients have not yet submitted their documents. And of those 1 in 5 who did submit their documentation, the EDD states that 90% of those who did submit documentation were found eligible. That equates to 28,000 individuals who have submitted documentation but have been denied and have had their benefits disqualified. Now, a significant amount of those disqualifications can be quickly and easily corrected over the phone. I want you guys to understand that if you receive a disqualification notice and a letter stating that your documentation was not acceptable, that your first method should be to call in to the EDD immediately. This is time sensitive and you do have to file the appeal for this problem within 30 days. So you want to make sure that you call into the EDD as quickly as possible. Next, the EDD states that for those who are found ineligible, they will be sent a notice with an opportunity to appeal and submit additional documentation. But I do not want you to wait to file that appeal. I do not want you to wait for any additional notices. If you are disqualified, please make sure that you call into the EDD immediately. Why? Because many of my viewers are letting me know that when they call into the EDD Tier 2 specialists are able to fix the problem over the phone. Now, if you do find that you are disqualified and you believe it to be an error, please call into the EDD. You're going to ask to speak to a Tier 2 representative and let them know that you received a disqualification based on your documents and you believe it to be an error. If the Tier 2 representative is not able to help you, I do want you guys to try a second or even a third time because there is such a variance in terms of skill levels and helpfulness among the EDD customer service representatives. Many of my subscribers are finding that when they call in for a second or third time, they are able to have the problem fixed, depending on which representative they get a hold of. Now, the EDD states that many individuals are receiving denials because they submitted tax documentation for the wrong year. So first off, make sure that your tax documentation is for the correct year. Tax records must prove employment or self-employment at some point prior to the start of the applicable taxable year when the individual filed for benefits. Now, the EDD has provided additional information regarding what they will and won't accept when it comes to documentation. This should have been something that the EDD provided upfront in advance when they first put out this requirement and request for information. However, now they are getting very specific with what they will and will not accept, and they have updated their website information and have some additional information in their news release. The EDD goes on to state that another common reason for denial has been when submitted bank statements or business information lacks any direct connection to the claimant. For example, claimants who submitted bank business account statements in a business name should also submit documentation showing the claimant's full name and their relationship to the business. If you operate your business under a fictitious business name and your bank statements reflect that fictitious business name only, then the EDD has no way to tie that business to you and your EDD account. Ways to prove that your legal name is tied to your business are going to be to provide your fictitious business name statement, also known as your DBA, or your business license statement or your seller's permits. Additionally, tax return documentations will also show both your fictitious business name as well as your legal name. Now, if you do not have any of those statements available, then you'll need to go into your bank's information and see if you are able to pull up any sort of personal details on your account that show your actual first and last name being associated with the account details with the bank. EDD's website now specifies that Form 1099s are acceptable, which I had confirmed over email and shared in a video with you, but now it is present online. Additionally, they get very specific with the tax documentation and list several different ways that you can submit forms within your tax return without submitting the entire return itself. The EDD then goes on to state that if your tax return or 1099 are for the same year your claim began, you must provide additional supporting documents to prove that you were self-employed before the start of your claim. This is a big reason why many of you are being rejected after submitting those tax documents showing that self-employed income. This was not something that was ever noted by the EDD before. So for those of you that are submitting a tax document that is within the year that the EDD is requesting, this is a reason why some of them are getting denied, because the EDD will want to see the tax return prior to your claim start date. Now, for those of you who are submitting contracts or agreements between your customers or clients, the EDD has added the following requirements: that those contracts clearly identify the claimant or the claimant's business, that those contracts identify the clients, and that those contracts describe the terms of the contract and specify the time, amount, and manner of payment. These are a lot of additional specific requirements from the EDD with regards to contracts and agreements. Next, the EDD has added additional requirements regarding letters offering employment. For those of you submitting a job offer letter, the EDD now states that these offer letters must be written offer. The EDD now states that these must be a written offer from the employer. They must show the employer's name and contact information. They must have a scheduled or proposed start date. They must have position information, and they must show the location to which the claimant was scheduled to report on the first day of work. So to quickly recap, what should you do? Number one, you should quickly call into the California EDD customer service phone line. If you do not want to go through the hassle of calling in repeatedly all day, you can utilize a third-party service that will redial for you called Claimer. I have a discount link to it linked in the video description down below. Next, if you are unable to get through to the EDD and you do not want to use a paid option, then contact your assembly member. I'm going to share the link on how to locate and contact your assembly member down below as well. Once you do reach contact with California EDD, you're going to ask to speak to a Tier 2 representative. Once you are connected to a Tier 2 representative, you are going to let them know that your work verification documents were rejected and you believe it to be by mistake. Tell them that you would like to have them look at your documents and see if it was done in error or if you can submit additional documents. If the Tier 2 representative is not able to help you, then hang up and try again. If you're not able to find a resolution over the phone, then next you will need to appeal the decision. Please make sure that you understand that you have a 30-day time limit in order to file the appeal. So I want you to watch this information that I have provided in another video from an appeals attorney giving some expert